Thank you, Concorda. I never realised I was so popular in this House until today. Maybe it's the political environment we're in at the moment. But genuine thanks for all the good wishes, Taoiseach, and all other Teachtaí as well. And I'd also like to begin by passing on my best wishes to Deputy MacDonald too. Taoiseach, since we started testing, 11,497 people have been diagnosed with COVID-19 and 444 people have sadly passed away. I want to pay tribute to all of those who are recovering and have recovered, and also pass on my thoughts and that of the Labour Party to the loved ones who have lost their cherished loved ones. I have said since the beginning that our frontline healthcare workers would be our heroes in all of this. Repeatedly said this since the beginning, and they absolutely are. They are putting their lives on the line every single day, so all of us and everybody else can stay well. And I want to pay tribute to them. I also want to pay tribute to those two heroes who lost their lives in St Luke's in Kilkenny in the last couple of days. So, Taoiseach, you asked earlier on for suggestions, so I'm going to give you one. As May Day approaches, the Day of the Worker, today we celebrate workers and all they contribute to society. I think as a collective, as a House, we need to examine how we can celebrate the work of our healthcare workers in a more practical way. Today, Taoiseach, we in the Labour Party are proposing to you and to the rest of this House that we would pay all of our healthcare workers a one-off €1,000 solidarity gesture on May the 1st. In these unique circumstances where we know that all of these workers are going way beyond anything they've ever done before or anything they'll ever do again. I think it's a gesture to show our appreciation, and I'm asking everybody in this House to support it, and I'm publicly asking everyone in this country to support us as well. We know that some sectors, such as retailers, are offering bonuses to staff who are working at this time. Workers in our health service should see some kind of similar tribute to their work in their payslip on May the 1st. This gesture would show healthcare workers that we appreciate them putting their lives on the line, and we know that they go above and beyond anything they've ever experienced before, exposing themselves in many cases to COVID-19, many isolating themselves from their families. And Taoiseach, this brings about practical extra costs when it comes to accommodation, when it comes to childcare, when it comes to transport, when it comes to meal provisions. And they do all of this so they can continue to treat patients, work in extra shifts, and sometimes, as I know quite personally, without adequate PPE gear. So I would ask you to take that on board. I also want to acknowledge all the other workers across the country, our Gardaí, our firefighters on post, and all of those in retail who are making our supply chains continue. Taoiseach, in the time remaining, I just want to ask you to do a few things. The people of this country are going through a lot, and they're showing great solidarity. And by and large, everybody is rolling in and agreeing to all the measures that are being put in place. But we do need a vision from you as to how we exit this. I'm not asking that you get everything right. In fact, you won't get everything right. And I don't think anybody here would say one word against you. But they do need hope. They need a vision. Grandparents need to know that they will one day hug their grandchildren again. Businesses need to know that this will change. And all of us collectively need to be part of helping you do that. But they do need a vision, and I believe they do need it in the next 10 days. So you might think about that. In the Q&A, we will get to deal with a whole range of other issues. I have particular concerns in relation to how banks are behaving. In relation to the leave insert, I think we need greater certainty. But in particular, we really need to deal with the PPE issue for healthcare workers. I know up until last night we were down to our last 1,000 gowns, and a plane landed yesterday evening that has actually ensured that we now have a supply of gowns. We are literally, just barely getting through on this, and we need everybody to work harder to ensure that we get this PPE, and I know people are. Finally, also, Taoiseach, I've repeatedly asked for this, and I don't know why it hasn't actually happened. We have a lack of capacity to hold the government to account in these strange times. The lack of parliamentary questions and everything else, and the fact of the circumstances we have to work in. But let me say for the 5th or 6th time quite publicly, but this time in this chamber, you have to publish the deal that was done between the government and the private hospitals. There are many components to this. In fact, it's quite confusing as regards what was agreed, how consultants have been part of this mix, or were they part of this mix. The cost of this is quite large. We need transparency on this issue, and we need it done now. I've been asking for this repeatedly. So collectively, can we see what has been agreed so that we can all look at it for ourselves and see how best we can move forward working with that sector?
Thank you, Deputy Kelly. Deputy Roisin.